Hey there, YouTube, and welcome back to another Utility Sports video. Today, we're going to be doing a mock NBA 12-team fantasy draft to kind of help you guys get an understanding of who you should be looking for, who you should be valuing in a draft, in a mock draft. So we're going to be kind of going through this. I'm going to be giving my analysis kind of as we go through a mock draft here. Obviously, this one is starting now, so let's enter the draft. And we'll kind of see. I'm with 11 random people, so I don't know who they're going to be taking. It's not like there's a situational geographic bias towards a team that I can really plan for. And I actually ended up getting pick 7. So I think this is perfect to show in a 12-team mock kind of what to value, who should go where. My assumption is a player like Giannis will probably go first. Luca's probably going to follow. And a few other players are going to be right after. My hope is that I can get LeBron James at 7, based on the idea that he might not play as many games this year, but if I could grab him, he's going to be up there in the league lead for points. He's going to be up there in the league for field goal percentage. If your league does look at field goal percentage, my personal league does not, but I know some do. You get -1 for a field goal missed, basically, and +1 for a field goal made. So a guy at 50% is essentially going to even himself out as 0 points. A guy above that's going to benefit you even more. And one thing to really look for is guys who impact the game in a lot of different ways. Steals and blocks are usually worth 4 points each in standard leagues, so those are really valuable. If you get a guy who averages 2 steals and nearly 2 blocks a game, you're looking at 16 points a night there. That could be a player like Andre Drummond. Obviously, he grabs about 16 rebounds, so there's another 16. You're looking at a guy who's getting 32 points a night in fantasy without even scoring the ball at all in that situation. If he gets 10 to 15 points, you're looking at 47 and 1 or 2 assists, and you're looking at a 50-point player there in a single game. So that's something really valuable. He'd be a player I'm looking to grab later on, not in the first round, obviously, quite yet. But like right here, you see he's valued 21. That would be my 3rd round. If I could grab him, that would be perfect. But it'll get a little close at that point here. Trying to look here. So we're starting drafting in 1 minute here. So this will be a little interesting. This is obviously something we have not done on the channel yet to this point. So if this is something you guys are interested in, please let us know in the comments below. We'll do a little bit more of this. We could do it with fantasy football. Obviously, that's not right now in season, but we could, plan that out for next year. We could also do a fantasy baseball one if that's something interested, or even fantasy hockey. We've done fantasy hockey in the past. That's why we are Utility Sports, because we know quite a bit about a few different things, a few different sports. So that's why we're going to try bringing this to you here. Let us know if you like it. And also, if you are new to our channel, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free to you. We'd love to have you aboard. We've been growing really quickly here, and we're trying to, hit that 1,000 mark. So if you guys would love to be a part of that, we'd definitely love to have you. So let us know. And we'll kind of see here now what kind of happens here. We just saw a team change at pick 2, I believe, which is interesting. But it'll be kind of interesting to see. This is just, a mock. This doesn't have any actual implication. I'm just trying to see kind of what the board looks like.
Welcome to the best day of the year, draft day.
And there we are. We're on the clock with Gabriel here. It looks like they have 45 seconds per selection. That's kind of standard, I feel. And now with Gabriel on the clock, he's probably going to go either Giannis or Luca. That's my guess. A player I'd be a little nervous about taking in the top 3 or 4 would be James Harden. Obviously, you see him here at 4, but there's a chance that he could go, okay, where do I see who is gone? Oh, okay. They took Victor Oladipo first overall. So this might not be the best showcase necessarily that they took Oladipo. He might be a Pacers fan. I can't control what they do. But obviously we saw Luca and Giannis go 2-3. Essentially that would be 1-2. So if you're looking at 3rd, you might be picking between these guys. If you're 4th, there's going to be one less guy here on the board. So basically my pick 7 is essentially like pick 8 now in the first round, because Victor Oladipo is not going to go before you in your mocks unless you're with a whole bunch of Pacers fans as well. Nikola Jokic goes here. Obviously, see, he's one of those guys that impacts the game in a lot of ways. Obviously, he doesn't really get a lot of blocks and steals, but he is going to be getting a ton of rebounds, probably a boatload of assists at center. He's going to probably lead the league in assists for a center yet again this year. And he's going to give you 20 to 25 points a night. That's really valuable in fantasy. You're looking at probably, 58 to 65 points a night for fantasy production, which is really valuable when it comes to a fantasy basketball league. And this one, remember, is for head-to-head. We actually have head-to-head categories here. Head-to-head and head-to-head categories kind of play the same way, except you might want to stack your team for a few specific categories. So if you get a team that's really good at rebounding at every position, that's why someone like Luca is so valuable, because he's going to grab 8 rebounds a night at point guard. Okay, so we saw Harden, AD go before us. Okay, so we got Cat here. And like I said, LeBron is here. That's really interesting to me. Oh, honestly, okay, and KD's also here. I'm a little nervous, though. I'm a little shaky about him coming off of his Achilles injury if he's worth the 7th selection. So I am going to select LeBron James. I think that's extremely good value here at this point. And I'm very happy to be grabbing him at pick 7 here. Obviously, Oladipo went first overall. That's not going to happen in your draft, more than likely. But getting LeBron here 7, if it would have been 6, I still feel really good about that value. We see Cat go next. He's going to be a guy that fills it up, gets some blocks as well. Now on the way back here, it's going to be interesting. My eyes are kind of on Ben Simmons. He is going to be right around the steals lead. I'm also looking at Russell Westbrook. You know, he's going to get a lot of rebounds again in Washington. Thomas Bryant's not going to be grabbing the most boards. So Russell Westbrook is a really interesting selection here possibly for me. We saw Trae Young go. Okay, Curry went and Damian Lillard went. Perfect. Okay. Now we're at pick 18 again. So we got 7 selections essentially until we're on the clock again. So is it possible that Westbrook's there for us? Yes. Is it likely? No. So then at that point, I might even be looking at a little bit of a reach on Andre Drummond just to make sure I grab him and get that guy who's going to grab a bunch of rebounds a night for me. And then Zion Williamson is also there. That's something I really like because you're going to be able to play him at the 4, something that's more of a thin position. You're not going to really have a lot of guys who are 4s giving you a lot of, production, especially once you get a little bit further down the board. Obviously, we see guys like Durant and Tatum. They're really high-end power forward listings. But once you get, say down, let's go a little bit further here, down to like this part, really past that Kristaps range, maybe Christian Wood. Harrell's going to be kind of so-so this year when it comes to fantasy because he's going to be playing next to AD and LeBron. Those are going to be the 2 main guys. Horford maybe. Like, you're just looking at this and you're like, am I going to get consistent fantasy production? I do like Jaren Jackson here at 92. If you can get him right around that range, he's going to grab a lot of rebounds. He's going to make 3s. That'll be very valuable for you. And looking at the small forward, like even down here, you could grab Hayward. He's going to score 20-something a night this year. That's valuable. Center position's pretty deep too, honestly. Like getting Kristaps this late, that's something I'm for sure going to be trying to do. I am a Dallas Mavericks fan, just so you know, so I might have a slight preference towards my Mavericks, but and like to me, I'm staying away from a guy like CJ McCollum. Yes, he's a good player, and that's the issue with fantasy is you don't necessarily take the better player first. You take the better fantasy player. So like Andre Drummond's a better fantasy player than CJ McCollum because he grabs so many rebounds and he gets steals and blocks. Whereas McCollum, he might score 22 a night, but that's only 22 fantasy points. You have to think about what else he's doing. If he's getting 3 assists, that's only 6 extra points in a standard league. 3 rebounds, that's not really getting you that much. He doesn't get 2 steals a game. So you're looking kind of, I don't know, you have to value some of these other things first. And at this point here, okay, so Russ is on the board for me, which I was not actually expecting. We saw Simmons. Okay, Kawhi went a little early. He's going to sit some games. Booker, okay, they're basically expecting then that Chris Paul is going to help him do a little bit better in fantasy, which is very possible. I'm going to take Russell Westbrook there. So now I'm looking at Russ and LeBron on my team, which is kind of nuts. I'm going to probably have one of the top 2 rebounders at point guard, one of the top 5 rebounders at small forward. Both of these guys are going to get, 7 to 12 assists this year, probably 7 to 11 assists with a night, which is insane. Yeah, I'm looking really good at this point of the mock, in my opinion, because you're obviously seeing, and like I said, you don't have to worry about fit because it's fantasy basketball. You don't have to worry about the better player. Like if I was actually drafting, I would have taken, Paul George over Russell Westbrook for a real league. But grabbing Westbrook here, he's going to be a triple-double threat. That's really what you want to prioritize is guys who are triple-double machines, are able to go out and grab a bunch of rebounds, get a bunch of assists, and that's kind of what we're looking at here. I still think, okay, Gobert is there. That's value. That's interesting. Drummond is still here too. What pick do I have? Okay, I've got pick 31, so we're a ways out yet. It'll be interesting. If Drummond's there, I'm pretty sure I win the league, essentially, because Andre Drummond's going to be able to grab an insane amount of rebounds. Just like, look at this. Look at the drop. 15 rebounds to 11. That's 4 points. He gets, 2 assists. Yeah. Let's go back to his 2020 season. Let's put that as the numbers. You see this? He averaged 15 rebounds a night. That's insane. You're just not going to be able to get that. He also averaged almost 2 steals. He was a top 5 steals player in the league, and he had a block and a half a game. He scored 18 points. He's an incredible all-around player in a lot of different ways. Not necessarily on the basketball court when it comes to really, team building, but when it comes to fantasy production, he's nuts. You're going to want to grab Andre Drummond near the back end of the second round if he's there, especially in a 12-team league. If you're in a 10-team league and you're getting him top of the third round, you're feeling really, really magnificent. It kind of depends on where you end up falling. So, and if I had the first pick, for example, I'm kind of trying to help you guys through this. I would have for sure prioritized Luca Doncic or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those would have been the 2 players that I would have felt I have to take. They're going to grab a ton of rebounds. They're going to get a lot of assists, and they score the ball. Both of them score at least 26, 27 points a night. They're fantasy machines, and obviously those 2. Fantasy does somewhat emulate, statistical success, but for a player like Drummond, it's a little bit out there and different. But that's kind of what we're monitoring. See who Ramondo goes with here. So we had, Adebayo went. See, some of these guys are taking Adebayo over Drummond. And yes, Adebayo is a better player than Drummond in real life, but I don't think they're understanding. Okay, Ramondo went with Drummond. That's unfortunate for us. So now we have to be kind of thinking of our backup selection here. We could go. Okay, so right here, you can see you've got 3 utility spots, a forward guard. So you essentially have 10 starting positions. My own fantasy league is a little bit different than this. Okay, so we went with Shea. And Drew Holiday went. See, Drew Holiday's a guy who's going to get steals. See, PG is interesting to me here, but I don't love taking a guy that's going to be, more or less filling my forward spot. So I'm trying to think what's the most valuable thing to do here. Might be Ayton. Let me check the center spot real quick. See, I don't even hate grabbing Nurkic, maybe Sabonis. I'm gonna do something that I usually wouldn't do. I'm gonna take Paul George here. Obviously, he's gonna just slot in as my forward. I don't have a spot in my actual starting normal 5 for him, but the points all count the same. He's an absolute beast. He's going to get 1.5 to 2 steals a game. So that's, 6 to 8 points a night when it comes to fantasy production. He's going to score 22 a night. He just got extended. So, there's no, off the court concerns there. Now, the one concern I have is he going to play every night? No, probably not. But at least when he does play, he's going to give me elite level production. And he's a top 15 player in the world, and I got him at pick 31. I feel pretty good about that. He's going to impact the game in a lot of different ways. Grabs about 6 to 8 rebounds a night, and is capable of assisting 3 or 4 times a night as well. Obviously, in Ty Lue's offense, we don't really know what that's going to look like yet, but I'm expecting him to have the ball in his hands a little bit more this year than he did under Doc Rivers last year as well. So I think that pick is actually really well warranted. And I guess I could even move LeBron to power forward and start PG at the 3, something that is, doable for me. So actually, I really like that selection now because it keeps my options open for the forward spot later on. Slight run on centers here. We saw Gobert, Nurkic, and Ayton go back-to-back. Tobias Harris goes. Tobias Harris is not a player I would be really valuing. I think his night-to-night thing is a little interesting, especially if you're in a daily lineup switch. If you're in a daily lineup switch, Tobias Harris scares me a little bit more. A weekly one, you're going to live with that. That'll be fine. But night to night, there could be nights where he doesn't perform at the level of a top 40 player, and that's where this guy just took him. Okay, Sabonis does go. That's a little concerning for me here now. Chris Paul is here. Mitchell Robinson. What did Robinson do last year? 7 rebounds a night. Oops, I almost left. I'm trying to figure out here what really the valuable thing to do for me is, because I want Kristaps Porzingis, but with him being out for the first month, I feel like I can't take him here in round 4 quite yet, because I think I'm thinning my front court out a little bit too much. But grabbing him, like, look at what he did last year. He ended up averaging, and this is not the smoothest to operate, that's for sure. But he ended up. Okay, well, we're on the clock here. Chris Paul did just go. I don't love a DeMar DeRozan selection, although he is good if you have the field goal percentage thing on, because look at what he shot last year. Don't love a TJ Warren selection. I am actually going to go Kristaps. Just look at what he did last year, if it'll pop up for me. Last year, you see average 19.9, 2 blocks a game, almost a steal per game. Doesn't turn the ball over often. I am going to grab him here. He ranked 9th of all centers last year, and I got him here now in the 4th round. I think that's pretty valuable. And he also gives you that flexibility between being a power forward and center. So if you do have a center already, say if I had been able to land Andre Drummond, come back with Kristaps, I'm getting 3.5 blocks a game out of my 2 starting big men, and I'm also getting quite a bit of scoring and rebounding input as well. And I think, Porzingis can be a valuable player here when it comes to fantasy production. Now looking, Steven Adams is a player I will not touch. He just, night to night, I don't know if he's going to grab 6 rebounds or 13. Just kind of a little scary. Offensive input I don't really trust. In New Orleans, I'm also going to be staying away from Hassan Whiteside. I don't know what his situation looks like in Sacramento. Well, actually, maybe I won't be staying away from Hassan Whiteside. He could be, I don't know if they're going to start him over Rashawn Holmes. He's going to grab a lot of rebounds when he plays, though. That's what I do know. Christian Wood's a player I'm eyeing for sure. Clint Capella is going to grab a bunch of rebounds. Maybe, see, to me, I would value Capella over Whiteside. I don't know why they have him ranked the other way, but got Devonte Graham down here. Interesting. Okay, Team Gabriel seems to be having an interesting draft. He's gone with another pacer, Justin Holiday, and Lonzo Ball. So we're going to have to actually look at this like an 11-team draft, which is unfortunate because Gabriel continues to make weird selections. So unless you have a buddy in your league that's going to do the same thing, that's going to lose some of the credibility here. But for the most part, it looks like the rest of these guys are drafting, fairly realistically. We see Jaylen Brown here going the 5th round. That's about right for his draft value in a fantasy league. Another guy, Draymond Green is a little interesting here. He could have 2 or 3 steal nights, 2 or 3 block nights. He's going to get a bunch of assists this year, probably 6 or 7, again, with Steph Curry back in the lineup. If Klay Thompson was back, I'd really love a Draymond Green selection. He's not, though. I'm not sure if I love it. I think I'm okay with it here around this spot, but he is at a power forward, so I'm not probably going to grab him because I've already grabbed 3 players capable of playing, forward positions for me. I think I'm going to eye Clint Capella here. Likely that's going to be my selection. I'm not sure about what Chris Middleton's going to look like with Drew Holiday. You kind of split that scoring between the two of them a little bit. Like I said about CJ McCollum, I don't love him from a fantasy perspective. I think he's one of the more talented players in the league. But quite frankly, I just don't love that in terms of fantasy production. Mitchell Robinson is here, but he's overhyped a little bit, in my opinion, when it comes to fantasy. I just don't think he puts up quite the numbers, and I think Obi Toppin's going to take some of his minutes away probably this year too. We're going to look at Clint Capella here going to us. And now our lineup, we're looking at Russell Westbrook, who grabs, one of the most rebound numbers for a point guard. We've got LeBron basically playing the 3. We got Kristaps playing the 4. Obviously, he's out right now, but he's going to be able to come back. Capella at the 5, and PG in one of our starting spots. Now we need a shooting guard. That's going to be one of these positions that thins out rather quickly. So I'm not really sure where I want to go. Lou Williams is a little bit like McCollum. I'm not sure what his assist numbers are going to look like this year without Montrezl Harrell. I'm a little nervous about that. I think they're kind of moving away from that direction. I'm not going to take Tyler Hero. A little bit too much inconsistency there for me. Delon Wright, he could be interesting in Detroit. Okay, we see Whiteside go. Gordon Hayward went. Like I said, he's going to be valuable because he's going to score the ball this year quite a bit. Let's go back to that point guard position, and let's try and find out where LaMelo Ball is. There's Kyra Lewis. Did someone already take LaMelo? Someone might have. I didn't see him go, though, so maybe not. I don't know where LaMelo is. Let's look for LaMelo. Okay, ranked 74. Yeah, that's about right. That's what I would suggest. Kind of him being... Oh, I'm missing because he doesn't have his picture. Got it. Okay, we see Robinson go. Christian Wood is a player I really like this year. He won't grab the rebounds that a player like Capella did. That's why I passed on him for fantasy purposes, but I think he's going to have a really nice season in Houston as long as James Harden is also there. Got Valanciunas, okay, in Memphis. You know, he's all right at this spot. That's not bad value in round 6. I'm up here in 2 picks again, too. Draymond's here. I don't like that, though, for what I've already got. Like I said, not sure if I'm buying into Montrez or not this year. And Delon Wright's kind of a, like you're projecting something there with him having a big season. What did Buddy Hield do this past year? Let's click on Buddy. 25-3. You're looking at 31, maybe 32, maybe 35 points a night when it comes to fantasy. Oh, and he went right before me anyway, so I don't even get the option of taking him. Josh Richardson could be interesting. He's going to get a couple steals a night. I don't even mind a John Wall selection here, but I kind of want to fill that shooting guard position. Let's also look back at the centers quick. I know I have 18 seconds. I'll be fine. Miles Turner here. Don't necessarily love that. Oops.
Quick, make your pick.
Shooting guard. You know, let's go with Lou. We're going to grab him. He's going to give us, 35, 36 points a night. And now looking at our lineup here, we've got Russ, who's going to be good for about 50 to 60 a night. Lou's good for 35 a night. LeBron's worth 60 to 65 a night. Porzingis is worth 40 to 55 a night. And Capella's worth about 40 to 45 a night. And also PG is worth about 50 a night. That's a lot of scoring right there through those 6 players. I think it's going to be hard for other teams to beat that. Let's go ahead and look quick at some of the other teams. Gabriel obviously has been kind of doing this, I don't know, kind of more as a joke. Let's not really take a look at his team. So Doncic, Mitchell, Ingram, Collins, Jaylen Brown. You look at this is a really good lineup in terms of what his scoring looks like. You're getting a 20-point per game score in Collins, a 25 in Ingram, 25 in Mitchell, 28 and 28, 10 and 10 basically in Luca, and a 22 6 and 6 in Brown, but he doesn't really have that elite rebounder, someone who's going to grab, 12 to 15 a night. And I'm not sure at this point if there's really a guy out there for him to grab that's like that. Horford's going to get more, 8 to 9. Miles Turner's going to get about 7. Jaren Jackson, he's up and down as a rebounder just because he's playing next to Valanciunas, who eats up some of those rebounds. So it's kind of tough at this point. I would have loved his draft. Okay, he does go Miles Turner. So he kind of recovers a little bit there. That's not bad. Luca Doncic is going to be his leading rebounder, though, at this point, looking at what he has on his roster. It's going to be a team rebounding thing here. Mitchell doesn't grab a ton. That's going to be his biggest weakness, but he's got guys who can fill up the net for sure, so he's going to be quality there. He's probably better at that than my team is. But honestly, my team, I've got a 22-point per game scorer, an 18-point per game scorer, a 26-point per game scorer, another 25-point per game scorer that's out right now. So there's some value there that he's going to, become that later on. That's why I got him later. Capella's going to score 15, but he's also going to grab 15 boards. And I think next to Trae Young, he's going to be really, really productive this year. And also Paul George is going to score 22 to 25 as well. So I think my scoring is actually kind of nearly on par with his. I don't really have that top end, 25 plus. But at the same time, I think he might have overdrafted Brandon Ingram a little bit. Okay, we see James Wiseman go. That's interesting. Now, Devonte Graham averaged 7.5 assists last year, but I don't see that really being a trend to build off of, quite frankly. It's interesting because, the one thing too about John Collins is he's got, an elite backup now in Danilo Gallinari. I don't know if that's going to affect his minutes. I don't really know what his long-term situation looks like in Atlanta. So it's possible that he could get traded even this year. I'm not really certain about that, but it was kind of weird that they brought in Gallinari for such a long-term deal to be that backup power forward. That's not really something that a lot of teams are valuing at this point. We see Wall go here in the top of the 7th round. I'm going to tell you guys right now, John Wall is going to be a valuable selection here at the top of the 7th round. No question about it. He's going to be a guy who gives you 18 and 8 once he's back. He looks really good in all the videos I've seen on him. He's going to be a helpful player. Okay, now at this situation here, I could take a swing and miss opportunity on Delon Wright. Obviously, I've got my guards kind of filled out. Delon Wright last year, I believe, averaged about 4 assists a game. Let's kind of take a quick look here. 3.5. They're projecting him to have quite a bit of a jump playing for the Pistons. I'm not sold on that, though. I don't necessarily love Devonte Graham here, but that might be the way I have to go. You're looking at kind of a thinned out. Actually, no, I'm going to go Josh Richardson. I think he's going to have a career year with the Dallas Mavericks. I think Luca Doncic is going to really elevate his game offensively, and I think defensively they're going to rely on him on ball quite a bit. I think he's going to have a lot of defensive opportunities to get steals and blocks, and just he's going to be in situations where he's going to be able to accrue fantasy points. So Josh Richardson is going to fill in my guard position. The nice thing here, too, is with him being listed as a shooting guard small forward, I can play him here, I can play him here, I can play him here, and also in utility. So you're looking at a guy who's going to be able to move across a whole bunch of different positions. So if Paul George gets hurt for, 2 weeks, I can fill Richardson in right there. And we're looking at a pretty strong situation. Delon Wright does just go now, which I think is probably, kind of the area where I was thinking about swinging and missing on him possibly. I can see the value there. I don't really love a Dante DiVincenzo selection at this point quite yet. Kevin Love is kind of interesting to me down here, to be honest. And he grabbed 9.8 rebounds a game still last year. Yeah, that Kevin Love's going to be my next target for sure. You're getting a power forward. He's probably the strongest power forward, like that's outside of the top tier. You know what I'm saying? Like even looking at Danilo is a better player than Kevin Love is at this point of their careers. But in terms of fantasy, he just isn't. He doesn't provide what Kevin Love provides as a rebounder. So we see Jeremy Grant go. I really don't know about Jeremy Grant. I'm not buying the stock on him. A lot of people seem to be doing so, though, which I guess is cool. It's a little interesting to me. Devonte Graham here, I think that's really good value. Honestly, it's hard to project what he's going to be with LaMelo Ball being there now and with Gordon Hayward there. The team is for sure better, so it should help him, but at the same time, his role is going to get reduced a little bit from what it was last year, which worries me just a little bit. Conley had a really down year last year. Kind of like Rubio at this point, but I don't have – well, I already have my backup guard anyway, and I've got my backup forward, so I kind of have the luxury to take somebody. I should probably prioritize a forward, though, with Porzingis out. Let's look at forwards. Okay, we got LeVert. He gives us that flexibility. Danilo's here. Did Kevin Love go? Yep, he went right before me. Shoot. Okay, with Kevin Love off the board. Oh, man. A swing and miss on Griffin could be something we're looking at. I mean, Blake Griffin's one of the more talented players in the league when he's healthy. I might wait around on Blake Griffin. I might just go with best player available and then come back and grab him as my forward. I think I'm going to lean toward Ricky Rubio this year. I think he's going to get a lot of assists in Minnesota. He's going to be one of their primary defensive options. And he gives me some depth at that point guard position, which allows me to play Richardson at the 3, like I was saying, as my backup forward anyway. So that could be my possibility, especially this is a category league, which would allow me to get more steals having Richardson and Rubio in the lineup. And Rubio is where I'm going to go here. It's quite interesting. Bledsoe goes. I think Bledsoe is going to be a good regular season player this year for the New Orleans Pelicans. Obviously, I'm not really a big believer in him come playoff time, but I think that for fantasy purposes, he has his value. Obviously, fantasy is not based off of playoff basketball, so it's a valuable selection here. Halliburton, someone I'm interested in, more so watching than drafting. I'm just excited for this rookie class. We had pumped out quite a bit of YouTube videos for you guys about the NBA draft. If you guys have any questions about the prospects and stuff, we do have a video on our channel, so go check that out. But it'll be interesting to kind of see how some of these guys do their rookie years. A guy like Anthony Edwards, I don't know if he's gone yet or not even. Let me look that up. Anthony Edwards. Okay, he's ranked 131. That's interesting. He might be a valuable guy to grab because I could see him scoring 16 to 18 points a night, which is pretty valuable for a bench option. Dinwiddie, I'm not sure what his role is going to look like this year. I'm kind of nervous about that. I really like him as a player, though, too. Malik Beasley, again, another guy whose role is more concerning to me than talent. I think he's talented. I'm not sure what his role looks like, though. Yeah, I think Blake Griffin's going to be the next selection here for me. I'm going to take a shot on him. Let's take a look quick at Davis Bertans, what he did last year. He averaged 15.5. Obviously, that's going to go down a little bit because now you've got Russ, who's going to be a scoring option. Beal's still going to be a scoring option. Avdia is going to be a scoring option. Their team's just much improved around him this year that he's going to have the ball less. But at the same time, Russ is going to, make him a better shooter, putting him in better spots. So, man, it's kind of tough to see what he could be. He only played 29 minutes a game last year, though, so it's interesting. Okay, Brandon Clark goes. Okay. Team Gabriel keeps it up with a Carmelo Anthony selection. That's great. It'll be hard to not take Kemba Walker here either, though. Even though he's out. I don't know how much time he's going to miss, but probably a month at the most. Kind of interesting. Okay, and Kemba goes one pick before me, so I don't even have to worry about the opportunity to select him. When's my next pick? Okay, wait, oh, Blake Griffin went. Oh, shoot. I wasn't even looking. Okay. Then I might go with Danilo Gallinari here. I don't know if I'm going to take Spencer Dinwiddie. I'm going to get another backup guard. I think that's one of the more valuable things, especially if the Lou Williams thing doesn't work out or if he gets moved during the season. Gives me a little bit of flexibility there. I have a point guard, shooting guard combo who's going to be able to get a bunch of assists, probably next to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. He's a big guard. He's able to score the ball quite efficiently, gets to the rack fairly consistently as well. So, I don't hate the Dinwiddie pick here. I think I could have probably done better. I was kind of more prepared to take Paul George. And just an overall note for the fantasy advice here. Prioritize players who do multiple different things. There's a reason you haven't seen a JJ Redick go yet, or even why Davis Bertans is still on the board here, despite being an elite shooter, is because they're kind of one-dimensional. He doesn't really fill up the stat sheet, and that's what you're looking for, is guys who fill the stat sheet. I did that with Russ, gets a ton of rebounds, assists, and points. I did that with LeBron. He fills up every part of the stat sheet. Kristaps gets a ton of blocks, rebounds, and points. Richardson's going to be able to get steals and points this year. Capella's going to be getting a ton of rebounds and points, shooting a really good field goal percentage. Lou Williams is going to get points and assists. Rubio's going to be getting assists and steals. So you just kind of have a wide variety of things that you're targeting here at this point. It looks like I'm going to be really well suited for assists at this point. Westbrook, Lou, LeBron, Paul George gets good assist numbers. Rubio gets good assist numbers. Dinwiddie will probably get pretty strong assist numbers this year. So it looks like assists for the categories part of this, I'm going to do really strong. If you're just doing a simple head-to-head, you want to prioritize best player. But at this point now, I might try and fill in more things that give me other stuff than assists because I need to kind of round out my other categories so I don't lose the category battle. Obviously, those categories being points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, and possibly field goal percentage if your league does that. Okay, we see Tim Hardaway Jr. go. That's a good value pick right there. We also saw Plumlee and Fournier go. Bojan goes. Yeah, he's a shooter. Get their shooter there. Nice. Can give you 14 points a night at least. Thomas Bryant. I don't love Thomas Bryant this year, to be honest. He's not going to grab as many rebounds. I really don't love Rui Hachimura. He grabs boards, but he's just not, I don't know if he's a complete enough player to really help me to the point that I need him to. And the other thing, too, I'm going to recommend, don't take too many swing and miss type players. Don't take too many players that are out at the start of the year. You kind of want to balance that. At this point, I took Porzingis, who's out early. I took Paul George, who's a risk for being out at certain points of the year. But for the most part, I've taken guys who've been historically healthy. Westbrook, Lou, LeBron. Capella's been historically healthy. Obviously wasn't last year. Now, at this point, Jaren's here because people must be scared of him being injured. Only played 28 minutes a night last year. Don't know if that's going to change for sure. He's still got Taylor Jenkins as a head coach, but I think that is pretty valuable here. I get a backup center and a backup power forward, which is something I need. So I'm going to end up taking Jaren here at this point. I think that's pretty good value. He's going to get blocks. He's going to get personal fouls. So if you're in a league that personal fouls hurt you, definitely I would recommend not taking him. But in this, essentially, I don't believe that they do in this league. So we're looking pretty fine at this point. Now we've got 3 bench spots left. So I've got, a power forward, another power forward. I got 2 center options, 3 center options, and 3 power forward options. I don't have a lot of small forward options. I've got 3 of those. I've got basically 2 shooting guard options and 3 point guard options, it looks like. So I'm probably going to want to go back to the well, grab a guard here, grab another forward, and grab another center to fill out my bench. That way, if someone goes down, say a Clint Capella, I'm able to grab more rebounds and kind of fill out my categories at that point, if that makes sense for you guys. So let's go look at the centers. We got Holmes. Jarrett Allen kind of scares me this year. I'm not going to lie. Don't know what his situation is going to look like. We heard Kevin Durant's going to be playing some center, which I don't know how I feel. DeAndre Jordan's also going to eat some of those minutes. Chris Boucher is tempting to me here. So not here yet. I think I'm going to wait one more round and grab Chris Boucher after that. I think Boucher has a chance to be one of the players that kind of jumps off the screen this year to people. I think that he's going to be in the running for a couple awards, which we'll have a video coming out on. So if you aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We definitely want to hear more from you. And let us know down in the comments below what teams you think are going to be really good this year, what players you think I should have drafted in this, and just whatever else you want to let us know. We love some of the comments. We usually reply to all of them, so we'd love to hear from you. Okay, we got DeAndre here. He averaged 10 rebounds a game last season. He could be that backup center spot that I was talking about. Jarrett Allen did go. Terry Rozier, what did he do for steals last year? Just 1. I don't love that. I could take a swing and miss on Killian Hayes as my backup point guard. That's something interesting to me. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. He's going to pass the ball. Yeah, I'm going to go Killian. I'm not even super high on Killian as a player, but I think in fantasy he's going to have value. He'll probably score 12 points a night. He's probably going to score or get about 5 or 6 assists a game, probably 4 or 5 rebounds. Well, maybe a little bit less than that, 3 to 4 rebounds. But you're looking at a guy who's going to be able to get 25 to 30 fantasy points a night. I'm grabbing him here as a bench spot. If Westbrook goes down or if Rubio goes down, I have that backup point guard now. Maybe I should have prioritized a guy who can play multiple positions and is eligible at multiple positions like Terry Rozier. Looking back in hindsight, that's maybe what I would have recommended. Just getting that versatility on your bench is important, being able to plug in spots for injuries, especially this year with COVID. You never know who's going to be on the COVID list, missing games. So it's going to be really important to be checking your lineups, having guys that are switchable through there, and being sure that you're getting games played at every spot. Now looking, I might value a guy like RJ Barrett. Gives me that guard forward combination like I was talking about earlier. Kind of had a down year last year. Jay Crowder, I'm not sold on that. How many points a game did Terrence Ross score last year? 15. Okay, Jordan Clarkson. I really like the Jordan Clarkson actually here, but he's only a shooting guard, so it's kind of the issue. I might value Dylan Brooks over him. Who just went? Baisley went. Okay, Not sure about that. We're going to take Dillon Brooks. I feel pretty good about that. Get that guard forward combination. And now I just need to come back, grab a big man. I might look at Favors. Willie Cauley-Stein's not someone I'm super high on here for this spot. I think he's going to lose a lot of minutes this year. I don't really see him working out. Oh, Will Barton's still here. Man, I should really grab another center, though. I've got Porzingis, Capella. I need someone who can play power forward for sure. I've got to grab someone who can at least play the 4 in case LeBron is resting or whatever's going on with him. So, and it might be Boucher. I think I'm just going to settle with Boucher here. I think his role is really going to explode. You kind of see what he did last year. How many minutes was he playing a game last year? Boucher was playing 13 minutes a night and grabbing almost 5 rebounds. Per 36, you're looking at a guy who's grabbing 15 rebounds a game. That's insane. He's getting a block a game in 13 minutes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I feel really, really good about Chris Boucher in this situation based on an assumed role increase. Obviously they brought Baines back in, but they lost Ibaka, lost Gasol. Looks like the big man minutes can be open. He's probably going to get closer to 20 to 25 minutes a night this year. So you could really see him double his scoring input, double his rebound input, double his assist input, double pretty much every statistical category, and that's really valuable at this point in the draft. Your 13th best player on the team being able to not only play 2 positions eligibly, but also fill in a bunch of different ways. Can give you rebounds, blocks, steals, and also can score the ball a little bit as well. That's going to be valuable for us. Last year, I believe he scored, just under 7 points a game in only 13 minutes. So you're looking at a per 36 number of about 19, which is really, really valuable at this point. And Boucher went. Oh my gosh, why would they take Boucher? I was not expecting him to go, which really hurts us. We could look at Millsap. He's going to get a minute increase maybe. Marcus Morris isn't bad here either, but he doesn't play the backup center spot, which makes me a little nervous. I know I hate to do this, but I might have to settle there with Marcus Morris. They don't have Tucker. They don't have him as a center this year, which is smart because he's not going to be one. Okay, Baines went. Where's Morris? Yeah, I'm just gonna draft Morris. I think that's sensible in a lot of different ways. So this is kind of the team we're looking at here. We got Russ, Lou Williams at the 2, LeBron at the 3, Kristaps at the 4, Capella playing that center spot for us, holding it down. Those 5 right there are going to account for so many fantasy points. We have PG getting us a lot of well-rounded points. Richardson obviously is going to be valuable, get some steals. Ricky Rubio, another steals assist guy. Dinwiddie, a points assist guy. He's also going to grab rebounds. He's a 6'6" point guard, so he's pretty big. Jaren Jackson gives us a little bit of everything, not too much of one thing. Killian Hayes is my home run pick. Maybe he pops off and can replace Ricky Rubio into the starting lineup as a utility player. Dillon Brooks gives us that versatility as a wing, and Marcus Morris gives us that backup forward we were looking for. I felt pretty good about the center. Turns out with Kristaps, who's going to be out right away, but he can play center. Capella's eligible for center, and Jaren Jackson will be as well. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I know it is something a little different. Let us know down in the comments below if you did enjoy it. And once again, please hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and we're really looking forward to continue growing with you, and we want you to be a part of it. So we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks again, guys.